from Washington, Sam Donaldson.
You're about to meet a man who hasn't missed a day of work in 12 years. And in his line of work, that's enough to put you in the record books. But it isn't just his perfect attendance record that makes Cal Ripken Jr. one of the most remarkable athletes of his generation. He's been called the best all-round shortstop in baseball history. And barring injury, sometime in September, he'll break a record that has stood for 56 years, Lou Gehrig's streak of playing in 2,130 consecutive games. Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace tracked Ripken as he prepared to make his run.
His record of consecutive games played may stand forever.
It is part of the American legend, Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, who stepped into the New York Yankees lineup in 1925 and didn't leave till 1939. It would take a terrible disease to force Gehrig to stop playing baseball, the disease that would come to bear his name.
Joe, you better send someone in for me. I can't make it anymore.
Hollywood had another icon, Gary Cooper, play Gehrig in the movie. But Hollywood couldn't touch what really happened.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
People thought there'd never be another one. Until now, when Cal Ripken Jr. is carving out his own legend. Ripken plays one of baseball's toughest positions, shortstop. Hasn't missed a game since 1982. Like Gehrig, he combines astonishing athletic skills with true grit. It's not that he's never been injured. It's just that he's never let it stop him.
He's the most professional athlete in America, in my mind.
Peter Gammons of ESPN has been reporting on baseball for 25 years.
Where does the streak put Ripken in baseball history?
Well, it certainly puts him in the Hall of Fame, but here we have the ultimate working man hero. The one guy that plays every day with excellence. This is the record, to me, that baseball should be proudest of.
This winter, it looked like the record might die. Not because of some on-field injury, but because of baseball's labor wars. For months, the sports world was obsessed with whether the strike might end the assault on Gehrig's record. But when we first met with Ripken, he said while everyone else was focused on the streak, all he's ever focused on is playing baseball, every chance he gets.
It's a pride that I have that's different than what everybody else feels about the streak. They feel about the streak that it's great and it's a record and you're challenging Lou Gehrig. I look at it as it's important to go out there and play every game. And I'm proud of the fact that your teammates can count on you to be in the lineup.
How much have you been thinking about the streak this winter?
I'm afraid that if I start to think about it too much, that I'll change my approach and I'll become obsessed with this thing. And that's not been my position at all. So I fight it. I fight listening to it. I fight talking about it. I fight thinking about it.
Ripken agreed to let us follow him through his most difficult off-season, when he didn't know whether opening day would ever come. We started in mid-February, when he would normally be leaving for Florida and spring training. Instead, he was playing basketball in the gym he's built in his home outside Baltimore. And he was struggling with something that's never been a problem before, to keep motivated.
I derive comfort in the fact that you do things through repetitive means.
Repetitive is an understatement. Even with the season in doubt, Ripken followed a rigid schedule. First, he practiced off a batting tee for exactly 15 minutes, constantly tinkering with his swing.
And this should go where?
And you do make contact, just up there.
Up in the corner?
Right there, right exactly there.
Next, he hit against a pitching machine, exactly 84 balls. And he moved home plate 10 feet closer, so he'd have even less time to react.
There it is.
In the gym, he practiced against a wall, endlessly rehearsing the pivot move, crucial to playing shortstop. Ripken's skill in the field has earned him 2 Gold Glove awards, and we could see why, as he threw at a narrow strip of Velcro on the far wall, which served as the first baseman's glove.
I'll throw the ball a little harder to try to put a little bit more on the ball and try to hit that mark.
Okay.
Oh.
Still, despite all this hard work, Ripken wasn't satisfied with his conditioning for what should be the start of spring training.
If you're normally 100
If I'm
going
normally
down, what are you now?
75%.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't like that at all. In my own mind, I can rationalize it and I can say, hey, I can work a little bit harder and I can make up that ground in the next 2 weeks, and I know I can. Just give me a date when I'm going.
It's the first year that he's ever been home this long.
If Ripken was ready to get back to real baseball, so was his wife, Kelly.
How different has this off-season been for your family?
It's a little different. I mean, he's here every day, and I don't know. It's nice to have him home, but, you know, we're ready to move him out.
But with no sign the strike was about to end, Mr. Shortstop sometimes became Mr. Mom, helping 5-year-old Rachel with her jumps, and 21-month-old Ryan with his slam dunk. Sometimes he let his workout slide, but not for long.
After the kids go down and go to sleep, it'll start to eat at me a little bit. I say, well, I haven't hit today, I haven't thrown today, I haven't hit today, I haven't thrown today. And all of a sudden, I'll come over here, turn the lights on, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and go through an abbreviated program.
So that's Cal Ripken doping off, is that you do the hitting 8 o'clock at night?
Well, it's a matter of guilt with me, I suppose.
When you say guilt, what's the guilt? Where's that come from?
It would have to be attributed to my father, no doubt about it.
Cal Jr., number one, went out and he made himself a ball player.
When you talk to Cal Ripken Sr., you understand what drives his son. But instead of the polish of a superstar, you get the gruff manner of a drill sergeant. Sr. worked in the Orioles organization for 36 years and is now out of baseball. In 1987, he managed an Orioles team that included Cal and his brother Billy.
Work habits are most important. You have to practice, and you have to practice correctly. And you can't go out and halfway go about a job.
When he taught us to do anything, whether it's sports or whether it's baseball, whether it's fixing a lawnmower, whether it's cleaning out your closet, there's one way to do it. It's the right way to do it.
He cares so much. He takes so much pride in what he does. There is no time for slacking off.
Peter Gammon says in today's world of spoiled athletes, Ripken is different.
We watch some of these guys in the NBA where they're griping and they're throwing balls into the crowd, and some of the antics go on there. I think he's quiet. He doesn't do things to draw attention to himself. He's completely at peace with himself.
How different is Ripken? Listen to him talk about autographs, which have become a big business for players.
An autograph used to capture a memory. You go to the ballpark and you enjoy the game, you spend time with your father. You don't think of it as a value for the autograph or how am I going to turn this over to sell it. You think about a special moment in your life with your family.
And what about his $6 million a year salary to play baseball? Plus all the money he'll make from endorsements during the streak, such as this commercial, which plays off his decidedly unflashy image.
I think my dad was saying. There's no way of saying sports people should make this amount of money in life. I mean, a teacher should make a whole lot more money than anyone.
As the winter dragged on, so did the strike. When we visited Ripken again in late March, there still was no labor settlement, and the baseball season looked more in doubt than ever. Defying the other owners, Peter Angelos of the Orioles refused to field a team of replacement players, in part to protect Ripken's streak. But Ripken said what he'd been thinking about since our last interview was that he needed to step up his workouts.
Maybe it was the fact that I talked about it publicly that it gave me the motivation to say, wait a minute, get your act together.
All right, you say you were 75% a month ago because of the primetime motivation. Where are you now?
I don't know, 90%, 95%.
It's an article of faith for the Ripkens not to get caught up in the streak. They say all the clippings about Lou Gehrig are stashed in a box somewhere for future reading. But while Ripken seems determined to play down the streak, wife Kelly has a little more trouble.
What does the streak mean to you?
I'm so excited for him, and I can't wait for it to happen, and I can't wait to be there and have our kids there and sharing in it.
You say bye-bye to me? I gotta go. You'll come to the ballpark today?
The last time we caught up with Ripken and his family was just before the season started. He was headed for an exhibition game, and after a strike that kept him away from baseball for 8 months, he was savoring every moment.
I think you take for granted that it's special. And then all of a sudden when you miss it, when you're not able to go out there and get in the uniform and play it, then you really think about how special it is and how much you really miss it.
What's been most remarkable about Cal Ripken these last few months, though, is how steady he's been through all of it. When labor problems jeopardized his record, he just kept preparing. Now, when a single play could end a streak that's lasted 12 years, he doesn't back off an inch. But again, Ripken says he's not there to beat Lou Gehrig's record. He's there to play the game.
I didn't set out to do this. And if it's taken away by whatever means, it doesn't take away what I feel is most important. It's my approach. You can't take that away from me. And when I look at myself in the mirror, when I sit down after my career is over, I'm going to say, you know, I don't need a record to prove that I did what I thought was right.
Just a few hours ago at Fenway Park, Ripken took the field against the Boston Red Sox and played in his 2000th and 22nd game. This leaves only 109 more games to break Lou Gehrig's record. Whoops, that's all right.